Hello, I'm Benson and welcome to my channel where I'm always trying to find interesting gadgets to show you guys what your money can buy. Today I'm super excited because I got a laser engraver, and this one is from Atomstack, the A30 Pro. I think just a couple of years back, let's say 3 years back, we were talking about 1 watt power of a laser. Then they come the A30, which now they stack 6 5-watt laser to make the 33 to 36 laser output. If you are doing research on laser engraver and then you try to buy your first one, it can be quite confusing because there is so many different power rating out there. Some of them rate the whole machine. For example, sometimes you will see that this machine is rated at 160 watt, but it's not the laser output. So just remember that, trying to look for the laser output power. A lot of the manufacturer now actually shows that they are doing testing and all that to make sure that the laser output is accurate. But anyway, my video is not scripted and I'm thinking of doing an unboxing, assembly, testing on different materials. So I have a feeling this video is going to be a long one. So buckle up and let's see what is in the box. So this one here shipped all the way from China. It comes in a box like this. Now, one thing about diode laser is that there's not a lot of things that can smash, unlike a carbon dioxide or CO2 laser. Obviously not as powerful as the current CO2 laser on the market, but it's a lot more convenient because you don't need the water cooling, you don't need the mirror adjustment and all that. So first thing you see out of the box is a metal sheet. So this is kind of for the base. Alright, inside the box you will get your instruction booklet, and then you got some USB cable. This is like a focus distance adjusting plate. You got HDMI cable, you got an air hose for the air compressor, a 3-pin plug because I'm in the UK, a dust brush, I think this is a DC extension cable, eye protection. So you got 2 rails here with the limit switch. Now all the expensive laser engraver will come with the end switch. The cheaper one don't have it, and it can kind of like, it won't know when to stop, and that's why sometimes you can hear the grinding noise from the motor when you send it home. Now this is the laser module, which stack 6 laser diode in one. There we go. So this is the powerhouse where the laser shoots out, is the air go in. And just in comparison, let me show you. Okay, so just show you the size comparison. So they managed to kind of fit in the same outer casing, slightly longer with the A30 Pro, and the A20 is just slightly shorter, but in terms of the footprint they look pretty much the same. So they managed to stack 4 in this one and 6 in this one. And a bit other different is that now the window is a kind of a tinted orange. This one is almost like a blue reflective mirror. So the A30 now has a tinted window. The nozzle is also different. They do say this is an improvement and less likely to get clogged. And I do find that even this one here, the A20 Pro, I have to clean it quite often. Can be sidetracked over there. Alright, so the next big thing in here, can I take it out? With the A30 Pro and the A20 Pro version, it does come with the air assist. Some of the laser printer on the market, they don't come with one, and you have to use a fish pond pump and all that. So this one here, they share the DC output from the laser printer itself. Make sure you don't make a mistake of putting this inside your enclosure next to the actual burn area, because the dust can get through here. Even though there's a mesh, a lot of users are complaining that the pump get clogged up and then they fail prematurely. So always have it outside the enclosure and make sure fresh air can get to the pump. All right, in this bag you got some acrylic, you got some wood sample here, you got USB stick, spanner, and a few other accessories that you will need to set up your machine. Here you got the external monitor touchscreen control. All right, so here's the X axle, which is already installed with a belt. Quality assurance sticker here, so someone must have checked it to make sure it's working. And the mount is pretty much similar to the X20 Pro. And the good thing about this is that you don't have to mount it yourself because it's already done. Okay, another 2 rail that makes up the frame. Okay, so this is the main CPU unit or the motherboard with the emergency switch. media card slot, USB slot, power switch, reset button, and the Wi-Fi antenna on the back, cables, power brick. This one here is 144 volt output, 24 volt power brick. A few of the feet for the machine is actually a metal plate like this, and they were hidden in the slot. So if you can't find it, look for the slit here, and you have to dig them out because they do bury them quite deep. There you only get 3 because I think the 4th one is actually built into the motherboard housing. And that's it. That's everything in the box. So that's everything that you get for your money. And to be honest with you, I think it's quite straightforward. This part I might just do a time lapse because I'm sure there's other tutorial video to show you how to put this thing together. I'm not that. I'm just showing you what your first time buying experience. So hopefully from the time lapse that you have seen roughly how I put the machine together, it was quite straightforward. I think I started at about 8:30 and it is now 9:05. So it took me about 40 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes to put it together. It was a bit tricky with the X mount on the rail because at first I put the legs on the other side first, and then because there is a end switch here, it wouldn't allow me to put the X rail on this side, so I had to take the feet off, slide it back on and put it back on. I've done the adjustment according to the instruction. You tilt it to 45 and make sure the eccentric nut is tightened enough to slow it down but not slow it completely. The X20 Pro and the A30 Pro has a much better mount to accommodate the extra weight of the laser head, so that's fine. But one thing that I would like Atomstack to implement is a cable chain, because at the moment, especially this particular power cable which goes from the motherboard to the laser head, it's free hanging on the side, and obviously you got the air hose as well. But what I find is sometimes you can see that when it clink up, it either hitting the end switch here or get into the way of the cutting bed. In my enclosure, I usually have something like a rail here to stop anything from going into the cutting area. But just something that I think the company should think about implementing. It didn't cost that much. I mean, we just have to buy it aftermarket as well to fit it, but it would be nice if it already come with it. Apart from that, I have no beef about this company. Everything is quite straightforward. It's square up nicely. At this point you might think I'll hurry up and burn something, but I think this one deserves its own enclosure. I have my Pandora box at the back, which is the X20 Pro. I want to build something special for the A30 Pro. So with the magic of editing, hopefully, and just like that with the power of editing, I got my A30 Pro in the enclosure. Now this took me a day to build, so yesterday all day I'm building this, and it cost me £30. I get $30, so I have to buy a half size of 6mm ply. I learned from my mistake. Last time I used a 1/4 inch MDF thinking it's so sturdy, but actually it was too big and it's too heavy. It's not necessary because you're not really protecting it anything. In fact, you're not going to stack anything on top of it. So this time I decided to make something like a carcass out of some like MDF that I have lying around, and then just skin it with whatever I have. So 6mm ply is part of it. The only problem is when you try to build something so thin, you you can't really screw things through it or have mount on it. That's why I have two Bitcoin logo here. I don't like Bitcoin or crypto. It's just that whatever I have spare, because I need to mount the mechanism here. So you can see I got soft closing and it stays open on the top. And I also changed my original design, Pandora box. So my previous one is just a square box and you have to work over it. And big pieces, you can't really slide it in because it was closed in the front. As you can see now, this one have a slanted front. And also, if I flip this over, and this is the front cover as well. So if I need to, I can just lift this one over while I can slip material underneath here. And then, as usual, you can access through the front. Now you might think, why is this box so big? I can do it half the height if I want to, but there's two things I needed. One is I need 42 centimeters from the top to the actual cut surface, not the bottom layer, but actually have taken into account the F1 that I have. So this has to be at least 42. So I actually made it out of 50 or something like that. So that's why the height. And the other thing is when you use the rotary system, like in my previous video, you do have to lift it for another 4 inches or so. So this is actually built in mind, and you can see I got the round circle drawing here. This is where the feet, extension feet will go. And I still have plenty of space to put any tumbler or water bottles or anything around inside. And this is all designed to be portable. So I can build a stand with wheels on it if I want to, but if I want to lift it one person, I just lift it over there from here, and I can easily still lift it. It's not that heavy. Enough about the enclosure. So about the A30 Pro, there's a couple of things I want to say about this. So first is building is as easy as the previous version. All the bags are labeled step 1, step 2, and the information is quite useful on the instruction booklet. But as a company, I do admire the innovations and the trying to stay ahead kind of a mentality. I remember I put out a video quite popular about changing the lens on my X20 Pro very cheaply because you can get the spare lens. And I think I mentioned that it should be a spare lens in the machine that they send out, and guess what? They do. And now I have a spare lens. So when that one gets marked, I can actually change it. There's only one in there, but it's still a big step forward because I think at the time when I make the video, there wasn't any option. You can buy 3 packs, but with the brass, the metal housing. But this one here, they just ship it without the metal housing because you don't really need it. First of all, is look at the messy cabling. Okay, when I build the box, I make sure I have enough space on the left-hand side here. But if I move the carriage out of the way, and you can see I have put a piece of ground wire twist together just to give some strength. All you need to do is to make sure that it kind of point horizontal to support this wire, because if you don't, what happens is this one can drop. So imagine all that slack going into your build area, and now it won't because it's this wire supporting it. Now, if it has a cable chain, then it solves for the problem, but it doesn't come with it. The other one is this power cable here. This can always go underneath here. Either get burned by the laser or trapped by the axle here. So I have to really do cable management myself. So cable tied to the end here, but still leaving enough, just enough. You can see that trying to work itself out. But this is what I call messy wiring, because a cable chain will be a solution for all. And for a top tier machine, I don't think it's too much to ask for, so I would really love to see that in the next edition. If I'm good at welding, I want to make this out of sheets of aluminum or something like that, but I don't, so I build out of timber, and I also sprayed it with this Fire Chief flame retardant spray. It's not fireproof, it doesn't make it fireproof, but it's a fire retardant. I don't know why, I read this somewhere that, this product is good, so I'm going to try it out. And in the future video, I'm sure to test out, how effective is that retardant is. Obviously, you got a wet side, not wet side, and then see any actual use. The window is actually cut by the machine itself. I wouldn't recommend it. Don't try this at home, but it does work for me. So I use it to cut out here. I can easily use a router or a jigsaw or something, but I thought it would be nice to use the machine just to test it out. So that's the 4-inch pipe outlet. So you can see that I use some personalized jig to slide in and out the exhaust part, and the hole again is cut by the machine. And this one here, oh my god, please don't do this at home, is out of focus, and because the shear power is still burned through. So first of all, what kind of wood this is? Let's zero my cover. So let's have a look. So this one here, 6 mil pi at 100%, 300 millimeter per minute will cut through in one pass. I personally wouldn't go that kind of a power though. If you go like 100 and go 100%, you actually burn through a lot of the material, because everywhere out of focus will get burned. I guess the best one is around this region here. So this is 370%. So I guess this one here, but more passes instead of burn through. But quite impressive power though. Alright guys, so I thought I will show you what I have been doing in the last few hours. So now I have my enclosure, I can do proper cutting, but this is still just testing. So let's go with the ridiculous. I got an 18 mil pi here. I think it takes about 20 passes. I do not recommend anyone doing this, because this is not what the laser is designed for, especially this kind of laser. Look at how thick this piece of timber is. This is 18 mil pi. It did cut through, but the last like couple of mil of layer, it just refused to cut, and that I think is down to the focusing point. I already started with like, you know, almost touching the surface when I do the focusing, but it did cut. But I wouldn't recommend doing this kind of things with even the most powerful diode laser I have here. Well, when I say most powerful, obviously we now have the X2, which have this one, but you can't buy that one on its own. It has to be an add-on. But let's focus on the Atomstack here. Now this one here is what made me fall in love with the diode laser again. With my X30 Pro, yes, I can cut 13 mil instead of cutting like 13 mil MDF. A lot of people were asking before, like, oh, can you cut 6 mil MDF? You know what, 13 mil. So this one is my first one, so I didn't get the setting quite right. So this one I use like 300 millimeter per minute, and I think 6 pass is what this one done. And then start to refine the result. So I think this is kind of the second one I did. So this time here I do 600 speed, 90% and 8 passes, and it comes out almost perfect. And I think this one is the latest one. So I think this will be what I will choose on going with 13 mil MDF. So the top engraving and the bottom layer is 500, 80% and 8 passes. I mean, yes, it's not a CO2 laser, and you know, I'm not supposed to use it for cutting a lot of stuff, but the A30 Pro cut this no problem. There is no excessive burn mark or anything like that. It came out perfect. Now if we go down a step, so this one here is 6 mil pi. Again, very popular choice of wood here. And yeah, this one here, 700 millimeter per minute, 90%, 4 passes, comes out perfect. Now with all this testing out of the way, now I can actually use this to make something fun. Hopefully I got something to show you in the next cut. I got my light burn here. I have the Atomstack camera, which is fantastic kit. If you haven't got it, I do recommend it. Or you know, if you have a webcam or something like that, if you spend the time calibrating it, is perfect. All you need to do is take a photo here, and it shows you the board is now not in the same place as before, and all you need to do is just move it back to where it is. It's about 1 to 2 millimeters difference. In the center is bang on, but as you go to the side, it's slightly off. Here I only have a double-sided tape at the moment, so eventually I'll mount it properly, calibrate it to, like, you know, perfectly on the spot. But now this is fine, and now I can start to engrave. So let's start. And my soft closing lid. Make sure last minute check. Engraving, I want it slightly deeper engraving this time, so I'm going to do 60. This is what looks like from above. No smoke. Very comfortable. And you can see through the protective Pyrex. It should fall off. Perfect. I think he is going to cover the screw hole, so I guess like that. All the screw holes, so I probably will go with that one there, as long as I can open without catching anything. Yep. So this is the end of my video. Hopefully I show you some information that is useful for you if you're looking for a laser printer or laser printer. If you're looking for a laser engraver and you're doing your own research, or you're just looking up of new tech, then I highly recommend the A30 Pro. X30 Pro, A30 Pro, just different color, but they're the same. The laser is still not strong enough for what I want it to do. So I want to cut 18mm pipe, but that is just a bit unrealistic for this kind of machine at the moment. I can't wait until they stack 10 of this diode laser to make it like a 50 watt or something like that. The camera, brilliant. Must have kind of for to make your workflow so much easier, rather than keep having to frame and then move, frame and then move. With this system here, still not 100%, still 1 or 2 millimeter out at the far edge, but it's so good that, you know, it's make my life so easy. Laser cutting is very addictive. As you can see now every scrape of wood is actually a piece of material for me. And I like the way that, you know, how the laser works. So you cut something like that and they just go back in like a jigsaw puzzle. This is, once you're dialed in and get your power and your ratio right, they turn out perfect every single time. So thank you very much for watching. Can't wait to see you next time with more interesting gadgets. Bye bye.